What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life BBQ podcast. I'm Johnny Maggs. Thank you for tuning in. This is the show where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that we normally talk around the pit. It's 8 o'clock on Monday evening. Actually, it's 7:59, but Dutch was being a smart ass and told me not to be late, so we'll start a minute early. So we got a great show coming tonight. We are staying local with my good friend Tim Rogers from Up to BBQ. I've known Tim a while now, and through the different groups and obviously the show. But starting my competition in KCBS, Tim has always been there and giving me tips, tricks, and holding my feet to the fire, which I will bring up because I loved how he did this specific thing. But we'll get into there. Mad Max, what's going on, brother? Daddy Dutch. Oh, there we go. So let's get right into it. Today, live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios, is brought to you by Uncle Steve Shake. 15 amazing flavors: the original, thick meat, the competition line, the sauce with no name, the dessert shake, little quote unquote possible steak shake talk. Name is still in the works, but a lot of things coming from Uncle Steve Shake. Check out his Facebook group, Uncle Steve Shake Nation, for keep you up to date on everything going on. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. John Long, what's up? Kyle Jr. Salinas, what's up, brother? Brother Lep, what's up, brother? It was crazy last week. Happy belated birthday, brother. Chris Mazinski, what's going on? All right, guys, let's bring the man of the hour on, and let's get to know Tim Rogers. Tim,
what's going on, Johnny?
Not much, man. Hey, thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and a privilege.
Oh, dude, just a couple boys sitting around talking some Q.
Yep.
All right, so you are Tim Rogers. You have Up to BBQ. But let's get into the very beginnings. Who is Tim Rogers? Where you from? Family life? Wife, kids, dogs, cats, alligators, whatever the hell. Whatever you guys got, what's the word?
Well, I'm Tim Rogers, Castleton, Vermont, born and raised here. Father of two beautiful girls, Jai and Jaslyn, beautiful wife Danielle. I'm the son of a fabricator welder that we've been building stock cars in the western part of Vermont for a very long time, which is a huge part of my life when it comes to how I got started in the barbecue world and how I got started being competitive in general and being competitive with everything. Barbecue wise, I got started in a little place at Syracuse, New York called the Ground Round. They used to sell riblets. We used to, as a little kid, we'd go out to Super Dirt Week and we'd spend a week out there chasing dirt modifieds around. And I got started on the course of loving ribs and loving mediocre barbecue. And then I got hooked on a little place called Dinosaur Barbecue. And Dinosaur Barbecue turned me into I need to have the best barbecue I can get my hands on world. And when I moved out of my house and into my own place, I learned that I needed to start learning how to cook. So we started with wings and ribs, and I moved in with a buddy of mine, Josh Munger, and him and me had a little contest put back and forth every weekend as far as who could cook what, where, and when. And some alcohol was involved and some good times was involved. And the next thing you know, we were at competing in a chili contest right down the road from my house that I purchased, and I didn't win, and it upset me. I didn't get a call, so then I did some ICS stuff, International Chili Society, and the next year we went out and we won the chili contest in Poultney, Vermont. And I said, well, I want to do barbecue. Let's go try barbecue. So we went from there to Monadnock Up and Smoke, which is an official KCBS 60 teams. And the very first KCBS contest I competed in, we won the rib category against all those big names. And after that, it's been great guns. Everything I can do to be out there as much as possible.
Nice. Crawdaddy, what's going on? Who else did I see? Schmitty, what's up, brother? Tom, what's going on? And Tom puts up, yeah. The ground round was mediocre barbecue. I wouldn't overestimate it like that. But I remember we had a ground round in Stoneham, Massachusetts for years.
Yep, those riblets set me off, boy. We would go there. We had to go to ground round when we were out to Syracuse. Had to, and it was a start. And I can remember a week in Syracuse when it did nothing but rain. I don't even think we got a race in that week. And I had ribs at a different restaurant every week. For every day that week, from Wednesday to Sunday, I had ribs. And like I said, that became my passion, was ribs. And now I'd have to say that the passion is pork, because I can't seem to figure that one out.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, back in August, you got a nice second place call in pork.
Well, good friend Bill Gillespie told me once how do you put it, to take your worst category and make it your best. And we practiced, and I got some good advice from a good friend, and we did well, and we've been doing well ever since on pork.
Nice. Yeah, Bill's a great guy. Can't say a bad thing about him. You're always willing to, a little tip here, any question you have, you can always go. And then, whenever he threw the the damn dip that night.
Yep, Sully's damn dip out there.
Oh, so guys, the damn dip is in. He had got it from somebody that he used to compete.
Sully was doing, if I remember correctly, and the guy used to scream out barbecue and when stuff was going on.
And when Bill was writing one of his books, he asked if he could put that recipe in. So the recipe is in one of the cookbooks, but it's basically, what would you say, like a chili dip?
Yeah, I'd say it's spicy, it's chili, it's perfect with Fritos. It's all of that and then some.
Yeah, and it's just made in this giant, probably the largest cast iron pan I've ever seen.
It's one of the biggest.
And it
takes up all of the Weber.
Yeah, it was just the Saturday night, get all the teams together, have a couple, get the drinks flowing, have the damn dip, just shooting the shit with everybody, meeting new teams who might be in for the first time, and catching up with guys you might not have seen in a while. But yeah, that was a great weekend up at the Cora Cares up in Maine.
It was. It always is.
Daddy Dutch. Good job. Yeah. Daddy Dutch is asking, Tim, are you cooking whole butts or pork collars?
I started out cooking whole butts. Since the KCBS rules changed, I've transferred to pork collar, but I trim my own way. I'm not just a collar. I'm also probably about half of the bottom of the butt as well. Take the top off, take the bone out. So it's not a traditional full collar. So you get the fat cap on the bottom. Try to get that bacon meat if you can get it. If you can't, don't fight it, but it's always bonus to have.
There we go. Kyle's asking, Tim, are you in the NE? So I'm assuming that's Northeast. So yes. Thick or thin sauce or bare?
On what?
Great point.
That makes a huge difference.
Okay, we'll go. You're a rib connoisseur. How do you prefer your ribs? Obviously not competition style. We got a bunch of us hanging out. We're cooking ribs. Are you saucing them thick, thin, or nothing? Or
I'm
dry?
saucing them thin.
Thin. Okay.
I want the glaze. I want the shine. I want the sugar, but I don't want it to be. You're not getting a spoonful of sauce. You're getting pork with the sauce aftertone.
Fair enough. Absolutely. See, now that's funny because I'm more of a dry rib guy,
Yeah.
and I just like to taste the different sauces, always with the
Yep.
sauce on the side. But if I'm cooking up here, very rarely do I throw a sauce on. If I'm doing a practice cook, different story. But if I'm just rubbing them and running them, just dry rib all day and try the array of sauces,
Right.
getting them all in there.
Yeah. No, I'm a sauce guy. I love a good barbecue sauce, and I mean I don't want to drown the meat out. That's never the case, but if it adds to the flavor and adds to the experience, absolutely, all in.
100%. Mad Max is asking, what's your favorite competition to be at?
It was Harpoon, and it would probably still would be Harpoon if it was around. Now I would honestly, we had a great time at Frog Alley in Schenectady this year. We didn't score well, and I had some issues there, but we still had a great time. So I'd say probably that's my favorite contest as far as hanging out and having a good time is concerned. Live band. We had Faded and Owen and Billy and all them hanging out in our spot because we were right next to the bar. It was just a good time.
Nice. Heidi, what's happening? Where's your husband? He said he was going to make you stay up. He can sleep in the truck tomorrow. Lewis, what's happening, Trumpet Master? Now, Frog Alley, was that the week after Cora, or was it 2 weeks?
Oh no, it was before that. It was like June 22nd and 3rd, I think.
Am I confusing it with a different one?
Yeah, after Cora, we went to Vermont, I believe, then Southwick.
Okay. Well, maybe
the Schenectady one was kind of spur of the moment. We heard about it when we were in Jersey, and we entered it late, and I heard their paperwork wasn't great, and their like I said, I had a problem with the judging, but that's neither here nor there. But the actual contest itself, the environment, the location, it was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I can't say nothing bad. Rhode Island was a blast. Vermont's always a blast. Being in my home state when I get to compete there. Yeah, I mean they all have their own little quirks that make them worth going back to.
All right. So you were saying that you really got into racing to begin with.
Yeah, well, I'm in a racing family. Okay. My grandfather, I got to give you the story of the name, the Up 2 barbecue. Up 2 is my grandfather's racing number, and he ran that on his race car from the late 50s to early 60s. My father's number was number 2. He was an orange number 2. So when I had to think about the business and what I wanted to call what I'm doing, Up 2 barbecue sounded like a good way to keep the family tradition going. And actually, if you go look at my cookers, I've got stickers on both of my cookers. One of them is Butch, and one of them is George. And we got Butch is mine, and George is Curran's. Curran's my teammate. By the way, I have to include Curran in there. He couldn't be here tonight. Without him, I wouldn't be here. He handles the chicken and the ribs, and he makes a better rib than I do. So there's
All right.
no way I could do it without him.
All right. Ashley, what's happening? Simon, what's going on? Uncle Steve, what's happening, brother? All right. So you were really laid down into the racing.
Right. Yep.
So
We dirt. Bear in mind this is dirt racing. This
dirt
isn't
racing.
NASCAR. This isn't. In my opinion, you're going to find better drivers on dirt than you are NASCAR. And then, I mean, I honestly, it kind of proves itself with Kyle Larson, for example. Kyle
Yep.
Larson is one of the best guys in NASCAR, and you can put him in a paper bag and he's going to win. But dirt racing in Vermont and in the Northeast in general is huge. And we run. My father ran late models. My grandfather ran what was considered a sportsman at the time, but he was running. This was back in the day when you built everything. The motor was a 302 GMC straight six that he built a custom intake for out of copper tubing so he could run 3 carburetors. He had the distributor set up on a clutch cable so he could retard and advance the timing as the track changed as the race went on. I mean, this is intricate stuff that he was doing back in the 50s. My father's race cars were center cockpit, which was unheard of back then. And he had chain driven steering so that the car could turn faster. So he wouldn't have to work the car so much. So he wouldn't have to run power steering. More horsepower for the engine, faster car. And me, I never raced really. I raced go-karts for a little while. I was more of the mechanical side of things. And I'm staring at a garage right now that's probably had 12 or 13 track champion race cars come out of that garage. Easily, really. I mean, I can think of Mike Palmer and Carl Vladic as a great example. Those 2 pro stock drivers have won probably 90 to 200 races together. And my father built those cars. And yeah, I mean, I've always been involved in racing. And the 25 I got on now, that's my dad's sponsor. He sponsors Billy Lucier and William Lucier. Billy goes out there. He's probably the cleanest and safest driver on the track. He tries his heart out week in and week out. And William, his son, is no different. He's out there winning races and doing well. So as far as racing in the Northeast, we're if you're at Devil's Bowl Speedway, Albany, Saratoga, you're probably going to hear about Butch Rogers at some point in time.
All right. All right. So how did the fabrication of the race cars and enjoying some barbecue in the different towns along the way turn into competitive barbecue?
Well, I've always been competitive, and to the point that there's another facet of my life I'm going to bring in here. When I was a child and a teen, I was a bowler, and I tried to do professional bowling for a couple of years, and then we got into the cooking side of things. We built a pig smoker for a couple of people. Then I built my own pig smoker, which you shared on the Facebook earlier today. And that's the cooker I won the rib category with in Monadnock. And honestly, the competition side of it started from chili. I didn't win that chili contest in Polteny, and I wanted to. So now I went back and studied and worked my butt off to develop a chili recipe that I thought was really good. And I've competed in that contest 11 years, and I've won it 7 times. And then that's, like I said, that started the whole, I'm going to go to barbecue and try to do this professionally against some of the best cookers in the Northeast.
And it's, like I said, this is my first year doing the KCBS and KCBS Masters Series. I did the breweries, the little ones like that. There was a nice one up at the Smutty Nose Brewery in Northampton. They ran it, I think, I want to say 3 years, and then it disappeared. And it was nothing huge. There was 6 to 10 teams, ribs and chicken. ribs and wings. Sorry, but that's really where I cut my teeth in the competition end of it. But then after my little birthday present last year of Miss Mary
Yep.
over on the other side of that wall resting, I didn't have any no damn excuses.
Right.
Hook it to the truck and let's go. So I said, screw it, jumped in right into it, and still feeling my way through. Um, how long did it take? How long have you been competing?
My first contest was in 2014.
Okay.
So I've done what, 46 contests so far, and I've been to what, 3 classes. Been to actually technically 4. I've been to Neb's. Neb's had a grilling class there for a while, and then I went to Ted Lawrence in Q Haven. He did a class. Then I did Billy's class, and then I did Miller's Backyard Barbecue. Miller's had a class right before COVID hit.
Oh, okay.
And after that, we've been, we go back and look at our notes and try to keep up on trends and talk to people and try to stay ahead of the ball and just keep going out there and giving it our best.
Yeah. All right. So since 2014, how long did it take you to, I guess, really feel comfortable in the whole competition process? Because I know
Um,
my first one was this year at the Granite State in June, and I was a shy little thing. I kind of takes me a minute to get warmed up and
right.
talking, and everybody there knew me from this, where I just run my damn mouth for an hour, and I'm sitting there in the field and I'm quiet as a church mouse. And
It took me probably 4 years before I started branching out and really trying to talk to people and learn stuff. And I helped the team out once in Harpoon, Stubborn Bull, Tim Rowan, and he told me that I was just a traditional New England team. You just sit there and don't talk to nobody and do your thing. And ever since then, I kind of felt like I needed to get out there more, and I get out there and talk more and try. And I'm always been shy and on the laid back way and let people come to me.
yeah,
And but after that, but Curran helps too. Curran's a mouthpiece. He really likes to meet new people and
yeah,
to get their story and to give his story. So it's having him around's helped me spread my wings a little bit too.
yeah, for sure, because it was like pulling into the Granite State on Friday. I met up with Matt.
Yep.
Purposely we set it up. So I knew, at least somebody right next to me, and then and then quiet. Then come Sunday morning, I'm walking around. Hey, good luck today, guys. It took me a couple days. Then up at Cora, it was a little different. Kind of had this what it took to set the site up and everything, so a little bit more relaxed. But I knew I had alluded to it earlier on something you did for me that weekend, and I loved it. And after turn-ins, a lot of the guys, especially anybody around you, hey, try this. Try my chicken, try my pork, try my ribs, try my brisket. And you go back and forth. And you had come over with the pork and gave you peace of mind. And I'm like, man, this is fantastic, because it was flavorful, it was tender, juicy, it was cooked to perfection in my opinion. and it gave you peace of mind. And you didn't tell me what you thought. You asked you answered with a question, which kind of threw me off for a second, but I absolutely appreciated it. That you said you took a bite, Nate. You went, okay. What do you think? You made me step up, give my opinion right to you, and you could may possibly better answer the question, I suppose, at that point. And I had
Well,
told you, I think it's got great flavor, but it's tight. And then you said, yeah, it is tight. The flavor is good. The sauce is good, but it is tight. Then we started talking, what temp did you bring it to? And, I appreciate you doing that.
that's kind of I alluded to the bowling. I did a lot of coaching clinics when I was bowling in Rutland and Fairhaven, and that's a coaching thing. I want to get where you're at first. Then I can help you. If I don't know where you're coming from, my opinion doesn't matter. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with your stuff. So I can sit there and tell you, hey, this thing is tight as hell and garbage, and throw it on the ground, but that's not going to help you out.
Yeah.
So basically, I let you tell me what you thought, and then in my mind, it's like, all right, I'm going to tell him how far off he is, where he's at, and yeah, I mean, you were spot on. You were tight. You told me what temperature you pulled at. That was my opinions early, and yeah, and I gave you my little trick of letting it go past and let it go past, because as soon as when you get into pork, they're never going to get hot food. I mean, you can do everything you can to give them something hot, but by the time it sorts through tables and sorts through boxes, and they do all their number adjustments and all their rigmarole, you're going to get a lukewarm piece at best. So your food's got to be good cold. It has to be good cold. If it's not good cold, it's not going to score.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still upset about my chicken that day, because that was damn good chicken. I don't think it was 39th place chicken. Not that I'm holding a grudge.
Like I said, man, the chicken's tough. Everyone is good in chicken right now. Yeah. Everyone. Yeah. I mean, you're literally down into the 15s, and there's still 170 scores. 4 years ago, 170 would have given a top 5 score. So chicken, everybody stepped up on chicken. Yep. And there's a lot of variety out there too. I know there's guys that are running wings. I know there's guys that are running legs. I know there's guys that are running thighs. So, I mean, there's the gamut. Just got to give them the best you can give them.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, it's New England barbecue, and that's, like I said, I wanted to have you on, and going into the rest of the year, have a couple of the other boys on, and into the beginning of the next year, because that's the one thing I noticed this year was there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of strong cookers here in New England.
Absolutely.
And let's just go in the past month. American Royal and the Jack Daniels.
Yep. 2 world championships.
The Invitational at the Royal, was fire at the end of the day out of Connecticut. The Jack Daniels, was Urkel from Uncle Pig's. Now, if you want to call Northern New Jersey, New England, okay, but he is there every weekend at the competitions we're at.
Absolutely.
So as far as I'm concerned, he's a New England guy. So you get the Invitational at the Royal, and you get the Jack. Both 2 world champions out of New England
this year.
Kind of puts it just right out there that, yeah, we can cook.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. I mean, our contests, they're all so close. I mean, I had what? We finished third in Southwick with a 694. That would have won any other contest I competed in this year.
yeah,
Other than New Hampshire. So yeah, and everyone's so good. There's a ton of information out there now. There's classes, there's YouTube, there's books. I mean, if you don't have one of Billy's books, The Secret to the Smoky Mountain, and um, Chris Hart's book, Wicked Good Barbecue, those two books right there can help you win a contest.
oh yeah, 100%.
So it's just there's so many great cooks out there right now, and it's just everything is basically splitting hairs.
Yeah,
Everybody's so close.
yeah, and like when we were saying before we came on, Glazed and Infused won the Granite State
Yeah, 709.
709. Brad Leininger a couple weeks ago at the double, he won UC
713.
13.
Yeah, 713 on day 2 and 704 on day 1
Yeah,
with borrowed equipment. He borrowed Kathy's drums.
yeah,
So, of
the
course, that guy can just straight up cook. I mean, I put out one of the best briskets I have all season to finish second to him to his 180.
yeah,
So, he can just straight up cook. There's no doubt about that.
yeah, he
Of
is
course,
on that.
it also helps when you do 200 plus contests in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, he was on one show I was listening to, and he wound up cooking. Was it a triple? He did a double. I don't know, I might be confusing it. He did a double somewhere, and on the way back, he stopped at another one. And
We had was it 2 years ago? We had a triple.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, one of Jeremy's contests. They had a triple. They had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, the Friday was the last qualifier for the Jack Day. So they were trying to get somebody in for that, and then the next two counted towards the next season.
Yeah, and but yeah, he's cooking something. I think he said he was over or coming or close to 50 contests this year.
Yeah,
and it was only
Yeah.
October.
Yep.
So do the math real quick on that one. But
Yeah, that's a double every other weekend.
yeah. How many competitions are you cooking a year on average now? Like
8 to 10.
how many have you done?
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
That's about my usual. 10 is pushing my limits of my family life, and I got to keep it. Balanced, So we 10 is stressful enough, and I've got two little daughters that they would originally like to travel and go to the contest with me. Now they're old enough to the point where they don't want to travel more than an hour or two.
Yeah.
So it's usually when I go, it's me and Karen, and that's it. So unless I can get like a cabin or something for the girls, and then frequent stops to keep them interested and occupied.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, they're big into it too. They've actually got a GC. They won the Kids Q at Cora 2 years ago.
Oh, there we go.
So they're into it. They like it, and my oldest has expressed interest already on learning the smokers, on how to actually light them and run them. So I can see that happening in the next year or so.
Yeah, because we've kind of turned it into like a family affair ourselves on my end. Claudia's there and the kids and the dogs, but I had asked the kids for Coras. I'm like, do you guys want to do the kids queue? It's anything chicken, and JJ was like, I don't know, and okay, you do your thing. So then I asked my daughter Holly, I'm like, hey, you want to do it? Nope. I go, you didn't even give it a thought. She goes, no, I'm done. I go, you're done? She's like, yeah, I'm good. And where is it? Right there. Folks, that's not me. That's Harley. That's my daughter. That's her second place ribeye at CMAX Riverfest. And she's taken her, she's taken her second place steak and rode off into the sunset. She don't want to cook another thing. I'm like, all right, fair enough, fair enough. But
Running.
oh yeah, but yeah, they have fun in it's it's such an event, each and every one. I suppose each one's different, but they're the same. Especially when you're cooking with the same people. Every week. You become the family. Hey, what's up? How'd this turn out? How'd that turn out? Non-barbecue related. And you just build a great relationship with everybody. Now, do you just strictly stay in the New England area, or do you venture out? Obviously, New England is basically, I'm including, New York and New Jersey for those
Right.
contests in the Northeast, so to speak. But do you go any further than that?
The furthest I've traveled is southern New Jersey. We went down to Jackson to the Red, White, and Q a few years ago. That's the furthest south I've been. This year we hit New Jersey, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and then that was enough for the year. I would love to go south, and I'd love to try it, but I want to go to the Jack, man. I want to go to the Jack. I want to go to the Royal, and those are kind of what I'm hoping to do here in the next year or two. I've got actually one of my original teammates in the very beginning. Juan Carlos is his nickname. He actually moved out to Kansas City, so when I go to the Royal, I've got connections.
There you go. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he said he could see the Speedway from his office.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's right there. So we'll. I'm hoping if we can win a contest to get into the Invitational, I'll go out to the Royal. Yeah. I just don't want to go out there and cook just the Open. I want both days.
Both days, yeah.
And being one of, there's only two of us that cook in Vermont. Me and Cider Boys, Brian and Dave. If we can win a contest, we should get the Vermont State Proclamation for the Jack. So all we have to do is win one, regardless of contest. We should get in the Jack. So hopefully we can make that happen next year too.
All right. So all that means I'm going to have to come up to the Vermont and cook up there, so at least you kick my ass.
You can cook next to me any day, Johnny.
see, you tricked me. You tricked me with that with the little gift, because I wasn't making
yeah. So, that's our Vermont tradition, is that moonshine.
Oh, Tim, I still got about a quarter of the jar left upstairs. I'm trying to save as much of it, but oh man, I was Tim had messaged me just before Cora in Maine in mid-August and asked if I was cooking the competition in Vermont. I'm like, no, I'm not. It was just this. We probably weren't going to do anything till later on just on the Neb side coming up. And he's like, okay, then I'll bring you a little gift because you're not going to be there. And so we'll get there. And oddly enough, we were literally almost abutted our sites.
Right.
And, so we got it, and here comes Tim with a mason jar full of apple pie moonshine or apple cider moonshine, however you want to put it. And
I call it apple pie. It's from apple cider. It's in just up the street here is where it's from. The Brown's Orchard and Farm Stand. They're close friends of the family. They have apple cider. That's my base. And then Everclear and a handful of other ingredients. And I make about 4 gallons of it at a clip. and then I bring it to the 922 in the Vermont contest. So if you ever get anybody else there ever wants to try it, you come to Vermont 922 both days. We'll be putting it out there, and Cider Boys will be supplying the donuts. Try
Oh,
to extend the bigger Vermont hospitality as we can.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Uncle Steve, I'm gonna come up and cook hot dogs on a coat hanger. Uncle Steve, the doors are always open, brother. Anytime you want to come up and cook on a contest weekend, you let me know, brother. I'm still gonna try to get Daddy Dutch out there too. And but yeah, man, we know. Like I said, it was for my first year out there with the KCBS. I was happy. I was happy with what I did, other than that damn 39th place chicken. Anyway,
You turned in 8 entries
yeah,
with no disqualifications, didn't miss any times, didn't miss any turn-ins. That's a
yeah,
wonderful goal for a first year.
yeah. That was my goals going into Granite State, and I did well. I think I had a 26th overall, um, and I screwed up the cook.
Right, and that's not bad. That's middle of the pack, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was middle of the pack. I want to say maybe a 19th rib, or 22nd or 21st pork, and on that one too, the brisket sucked. So I think I figured out my issue with my brisket is I'm actually taking it off too soon, because I was always that 250 range temperature wise,
Yep.
and Miss Mary wants to sit 275 300 all day long. So I'm at a higher temperature, and I never. So in my mind, which I am my biggest am my competition.
Yep.
I need to take it higher internal.
A lot of those Jambo guys are running 300.
Yeah,
So I mean, Miss Mary's got to run similar to a Jambo, and I'll bet you she'd like 300.
yeah. She'll sit there all day long on 300. So I think I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, man, before I had her, I was cooking briskets at the house here that were fantastic. And then I'm sitting there going, okay, this is 2 for 2. That this brisket is absolute shit.
Well,
I'm
if
like,
you're
what?
running 300, at least you can get some sleep at night.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't light my smoker till 5 in the morning, and I'm running Humphreys.
yeah,
And Humphreys has been great to us, and I love those smokers. And they can run all night long. They can run all day long. They can go hot. They can go fast. And we've developed a program where I'm wrapping my meat at the same time Curran's wrapping his, and he's running ribs, and I'm running pork and brisket.
yeah. Great point.
And we're
Great.
we're right on schedule.
Nice. So are you done for the year, or?
Yeah, I've got one more thing I got to do. I got to cook a party for the racing guys. We always do a Christmas party for them. We got up to barbecue on both their cars, so I want them to eat well. And I'll go through and do a couple briskets, a couple pork butts, and some sides. And after that, I'll put the trailer in the corner of the lot and run some power to it, and I'll have my heater out there, and we won't tell other time I'll get used is for practice.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
I practice all year long. I don't mess around with that. If I probably cook once a month, probably I do a practice. Whether I just pick a meat and I go through my routine. If I want to tweak something, I tweak it. If I don't, I just run my thing, and the boys at work eat well the next day.
Okay, I got one for you. The flavor profiles in New England. How much do they vary? Have you noticed?
I don't
Or
think they change much at all. I don't think they change much in the country, to be honest with you. They
Yeah.
might be a little hotter here, a little sweeter there. I know that much. The further north you go, the closer to the border you get, the more sweeter they like it. But I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I heard Darren Worth talking about running simmering docks and smoking guns hot on his stuff, and
Yep.
and it's the same thing we did 5-10 years ago. So I'm not my brisket recipe has been the same recipe for the last 5 years. The only thing I did different was work on the tenderness. My flavor profile has been exactly the same. I can't say that. I added one sauce. I go back and forth with sauces. But my rubs, my injections, they're all the same on brisket. And the way it looks right now, we should be second in New England with Nebs on brisket.
Okay. That's good. That's great. Can't go wrong with that. Second place, New England. Hell no.
Yeah, right between Patty McHugh and Faded. Patty's first, Faded's third.
Yeah.
So
not a bad place to be, brother. Wes Phillips, what is up, brother, from the great state of Georgia? Let's see. We had a question here. Chris Krasinski, yes. The more comps you do, the better you get, Johnny. Oh, absolutely. It's just the mind games with me on that one, especially that damn chicken that I'm not holding a grudge against. But I can't let it go. I can't really let it go, and there's a reason.
Well, you got another 6 months to figure it out.
Oh hell yeah! I'll be ready to do. I'll be ready to go because that's what it is. I'll be planning it all out. I always take the week between Christmas and New Year's off.
Yep.
So that should be. Most of the comp should be somewhat set. So I'll break them down, because I'd like to do the one in Vermont. What was it? Was Jamestown? Was that early in the season?
Yes.
I'd like to do
Blairstown. Blairstown.
Yeah.
Blairstown. Yeah, we did that one. That was a good contest.
I did 2 this year. I'd like to do 4 coming up.
Get yourself to a double.
Yeah.
Those doubles are nice because on day 1 you do your schedule, you do your routine, you get your feedback, and then you get to go to day 2 and just get yourself in that rhythm. And get yourself to a double. It'll help your cookout a lot. You'll get yourself into that pattern. You'll get more comfortable with it.
Well, that's a hell of an idea. Lance, yes, I got Facebook and the YouTube rolling. Where the hell? There was the hot dogs. Oh, Kyle had asked what was your favorite thing to cook? That would be ribs. Yeah.
Yeah, ribs is my personal favorite thing to cook. But like I said, Curran does better than I do.
Oh, Russell, thank you, brother. Shake that chicken off. You got a bad table. I'm sure it was great. It was good chicken. It was good chicken. There is, like I said, there is a bit of story behind it that we won't get into on air. But it is what it is. But so like do you do something very similar in like plan the comps for the season?
I try to, and quite honestly, what my usual plan is I'll take my tax money, my refund, and I'll pay all my contests in one shot, and they're done. Yeah. But things change, life happens. That didn't get to happen this last year, and I don't think it's going to happen this year. But I'm still going to try to make 10. That's my goal, is to hit that 10 number, and continue to do that if I can.
Yeah, that was my plan when between the tax money and my Christmas tips for my customers.
Yep.
to get a couple of contests already paid for right off the bat. Don't have to worry about that. Just worried about the sourcing the proteins.
Right.
You got any specific things on sourcing your stuff, or
Mr. Brisket? Go talk to Hank at Mr. Brisket.
yes.
I'm not going to name other distributors, but I've played with every one of them.
Yeah.
Hank has by far the best customer service you will find. The guy will go out of his way for you. He when I had a problem with the distributor, he called me on his day off on a walk in the park, literally, to get my information so that I could have brisket by Friday to go to a contest with.
Wow.
He earned my business. There's no question about it. And I've been dealing with his brisket for the last 3 years, and his quality speaks for itself.
Have you tried his new competition package?
I have, and it's nothing against them. They did a great job. I have a certain way I like to trim my brisket and my pork, and I'm more of a hands-on guy when it comes to that. So, and honestly, I made 15 pounds of burger this weekend just grinding my frozen trimmings. So I'd much rather go that route than have him trim them up for me.
Yeah.
So, and Curran's the same way. Curran has a way he likes to do his chicken and his ribs. We did try it at Cora. We didn't mind it. It wasn't bad. It's just that it wasn't the way we do things. We have our own way of doing things now, and we just kind of want to keep it that way. When it comes to brisket, I'm very anal about location and grain direction, and I separate my flat from my point. So I'll spend an hour trimming a brisket, and no, that's just kind of my own gig.
Oh, interesting. Cool. But all right, here comes the big question. So you are going to be the second person to be asked this. And I gave you the heads up so you can start thinking.
Yep.
A lot of different shows have the Mount Rushmore. Who's on your Mount Rushmore? Who's on your Mount Rushmore barbecue, cooking, etc.
How many are you giving me? 4 or 5?
We're going to go 5. I will allow a 6th.
Okay.
But the question is, if you were to start a fantasy barbecue team, who would be your draft picks?
I like the Rushmore question better because the fantasy question relies on those people cooking, and a couple of my people in my Rushmore aren't cooking right now.
That's fine.
Okay, so let's do them both. Let's do them both.
Fair enough. Let's go.
Rushmore. Got to start off with Darren Worth, the GOAT. He's the man. I like Travis Duffy, only because I've listened to some podcasts of him. He's got the similar racing background as I do. I think we would get along well. But he's definitely on there. Travis Clark, only because he has to win. He's a winning guy. I know he's made some comments about us up here, but he's still on my Rushmore. Now here's where my wild cards come in. And people are probably going to agree with me or disagree with me. I got to put in Chris Hart. I got to put in Bill Gillespie. Here's my one that I have to put in is Jaina Tedesco. Jaina is so underrated. That girl cooks her heart out. She kicks butt at every contest she goes to with 4 kids, 1 on her back. That woman is amazing. I love Jaina to death. I hope she's watching this. And Pete, you're the hardest working man in barbecue. There's nobody like you guys. Yeah, Jaina's got to be on that list.
Okay. Very good.
So now we're talking. So now you want to get into the fantasy league?
The fantasy league.
Fantasy league. It's got to start off with Bill Gillespie.
Okay.
Then I'm going Faded.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, those Mark and Christina are always right there. Then I want to get in there and go and go Uncle Pig. Uncle Pig's right there as well. Childs, Wolf's Revenge.
Okay.
Wolf's Revenge has got to be on that list. I'm just honestly getting basted. That would be my fantasy team.
Okay.
Somebody else I keep forgetting about if we're also talking New England is Jared from Insane Swine.
Yeah.
That boy has a superpower. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. I've gone by his contest in the middle of the night, pitch black, no lights on, and he's still in there doing stuff. He's still in there fucking. No power, no nothing. That boy's got a superpower. He can either see in the dark or something because he's very impressive.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Oh, look, there he is. El Jefe. What's up, brother? Totally agree. Dana and Pete. Pete can break down and pack a site faster than anyone in the world.
He's the hard. Me and Kern say he's the hardest working man in barbecue. That boy is just on it. There's no doubt about it.
Awesome. 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 El Jefe, you're on the list, brother. I will be in touch with you at some point. We're going to start hitting the local boys, getting some of these names out because we're everyone up this way is throwing down hard. So
El Jefe's been the man with the ribs lately.
Yeah, been doing very well, very well. Well, man, Tim, thank you so much, brother. This has been great. Where can everybody find you social media wise?
Facebook and Instagram, Up to Barbecue. We're pretty much the only one out there. We're the only ones from Vermont, so Up to Barbecue is where we'll be at.
Sounds good, brother.
Well, thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate it, and hopefully, if we win one this coming year, we'll be on again.
Awesome, awesome. Bill Purvis, what's up, brother? Mr. Chicken Fried Barbecue. But Tim, like I said, I appreciate it, brother. Can't wait to get back out there in the sights with you, and we'll have us a good old time, and a little apple pie moonshine will go a long way.
I'll have it in the cooler.
All right, brother. Hang on 1 second. Let me finish this out, and then I'll jump back with you. Well, that's it this week, folks. You know, that was Tim from Up to Barbecue. Great guy. Like I said, helped me out a bunch on at the last competition. You know, when he didn't have to. I liked how he approached it. I appreciated how he approached it because it made me go, okay, I'm not just coming out here going, oh, it's great. I knew it wasn't great, you know, especially after tasting his pork. There was no contest between the two of them. But, you know, he wanted my input of where I thought I was, and I truly appreciate it, and I'll never forget that. But that's what this whole barbecue family is all about. They're helping each other out, bringing the best out of each other. And like I've said 100 times before, I've been truly blessed to fall into this situation of barbecue and to know my friends and family all over the country, and it's wonderful. And you know, get to sit here and shoot the shit, which is all each and every Monday night is another blessing. And next week we have a special guest coming up, and by a little gentleman by the name of Fred Robles of Rio Valley Meats, and fresh off a first place brisket at the American Royal. But it'll be great to talk with Fred all about Rio Valley Meats, Champions Barbecue Alliance that he runs down in Texas. But that's all next week, folks. But like I said, thank you for tuning in. And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.